Hello, welcome to UniHub Digital Solutions. You are welcome once again to this tutorial. So in this tutorial, we're going to be talking about introduction to web development and mobile app development. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and make sure you follow us on our Twitter, UniHub Digitals. So what this tutorial will entail is we are going to the tutorial is divided into 4 sections. We have section 1, which talks about introduction to front-end web development. We have section 2, which talks about introduction to back-end development. We have section 3, which talks about the mobile app development, building of mobile applications. And lastly, we are going to talk about our course registration process. So let's get started. Basically, all websites in the world on the web are divided into 2 parts. We have the front end part and we have the back end part. So talking of the front end parts, there are 3 main compartments or like I say bodies of a standard website. So what makes up this website are just 3 things, which are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And in this tutorial, we are going to be bringing a live example. So we are going to use Amazon website to differentiate between front end and back end, and also to differentiate between the uses of HTML, what HTML does, what CSS does, and what JavaScript does as well, and the frameworks that this particular languages use to ease developers work. Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is the structure of the web. Basically, it's the structure of the web. So when we say structure of the web, what do we mean? We mean let's on to Amazon website. So sorry for the slow network. So currently, if you look at this website, you'll see we have different parts in this site. We have some colorations, we have some text being displayed, we have navigation bar, we have footer, and we have body of the website. So this is a nice website developed by used by Amazon for their e-commerce. Every one of us is familiar with this. Now, how is this website being structured? How did they come about this? How does developer do all things like this? So the first one I want to look at is the HTML that we have talked about before. That is the structure of the web. So everything you see here, everything you see in terms of writing, in terms of what they are being typed here, all these things that you see, everything you see here are just basically HTML. Then the coloration we see here, all this coloration, what displays images. If you look at it, you see that these things are in different compartments. You see we have one by the side and we have another one here, and you can see the way things are arranged here. You can see 3 images on a row. So all these things, they are achieved by the work of HTML. Now, HTML is just the structure, the body part of this site. Let's take a look at, if we inspect this site, let's try to inspect it. Now, okay, basically, as I've spoken earlier, I told you this site itself is divided into 3 parts. We have the HTML part of things. If you look at this particular navigation bar, every code that you see here, look at, I'm placing over, you can see this is a div, this is a container. So what brings about this container is the HTML part of the site. Then we have all these colorations that you can see, the way objects are positioned and all is achieved by the styling of the site. Then we have the JavaScript part of it. Now HTML particularly structures it. Then every other thing that you see that makes it look fancy and all, the way you see these images are being placed, given proportions, and the coloration and all, these are achieved by CSS. So HTML is hypertext markup language, while CSS is used for styling, cascading style sheet. It's used for styling the site. So like the example I normally give my students, HTML is just like the building blocks of this site, while CSS is like the paint, the decorations, the plasters they use in building up a building. Now if I should click on any of this image, this loads dynamically. This can be achieved through JavaScript or from backend programming languages. We can fetch data from the backend. So a simple example of what JavaScript does on the site is JavaScript, it gives the site dynamism. It makes the site dynamic without being static. So let me give you a good example. Okay, here is an example that can make things easier for us. This is a seller. This is one of the best-selling digital website online where you can sell your digital products. Now, to wrap things up, the navigation bar, the horizontal navigation bar that you're seeing here is achieved using HTML, and then it's styled using CSS. Now the coloration you are seeing on this site is achieved using CSS, cascading style sheet. Everything you see, you can see these are divided into, these are different divs using HTML, and the coloration as well, and the placement, the positioning of this particular text, how they align, the alignment and all are achieved using CSS. Then we have, so everything that has, this is a card, everything that you can see on this site are achieved either through HTML or CSS. Then we have the JavaScript part of things where it brings it to be dynamic. An example that I can cite for beginners like you, holy shit. Okay, let's go. Sorry, the website is a bit, the network is a bit slow. Sorry, the network is a bit slow. Okay, while we wait for the network, let's continue. So in short notes, HTML is the building block of all websites online, while CSS is used for styling, making it beautiful, making the web structure, making it beautiful, good in appearance, while JavaScript is used to add dynamism to the site, like the case of entering. Okay, let's see this. If I try to press continue, you can see this particular is telling me either email or phone number entered is not valid. So what they use to achieve this is actually JavaScript, for you to be able, without filling. So if I didn't put anything here, it will not load, it will not send my mail to the database. Let me say so if I press continue, it's telling me okay, the email is not correct, maybe that's regex. Okay, look at it. So it's loading, it's sending data here. If the data is not correct, JavaScript will be used to pass information to me that sorry, this account is not okay. Now what Jumia does is it notifies that there is no mail on the database. This mail, it is not present in the database, so they have to tell me to register rather than telling me incorrect credentials. So what they use to actually detect that okay, this one you have not input anything in this box. Let's say for example I press continue, this is a validation process that oh, you haven't input anything here. What they use to actually achieve this is a JavaScript. Another usefulness of JavaScript is there are lots of usefulness of JavaScript on the front end part of things. In fact, the front end programming language is JavaScript. Then while HTML is used for styling, CSS is used for HTML is used for building the structure of website, CSS is used for styling the website, and JavaScript is used for adding dynamism to the site. JavaScript is used for adding dynamism to the site. So for you to become a front-end web developer, these three basic language is paramount. You have to know how to do it, how to manipulate, how to use JavaScript, how to use CSS, and how to use HTML. These are the basic knowledge for a front-end web developer to have. Now, cases arise that you have to write millions of code, write thousands of code to style a lot of things. So that's when frameworks come in. For styling web pages, to make it beautiful, you have to write some quite number of codes. So some developers have done a lot of work behind the scenes for you, and they came out with a lot of CSS framework, like the Tailwind CSS framework. We have Bootstrap that everybody knows. So rather than let's go to Bootstrap website. So rather than using quite a large number of time on styling your web, and there are some work that has been done under the hood for you by some developers, and they came out with Bootstrap, Tailwind CSS. So if you are to style a particular card or a particular page or navigation, maybe you are going to write, let me say, 100 lines of code, sometimes 50, but with the Bootstrap, with just 3 to 5 lines of code, you are done. So these are the essence of frameworks. They have done a lot of things under it for you, so you just need to call it and make use of it. So another thing that you need to learn as a front-end web developer is Bootstrap with your CSS. So Bootstrap is the framework for CSS, so you learn Bootstrap alongside with CSS. So another framework, CSS has a framework which is called Bootstrap. Then JavaScript himself has a lot of frameworks among which is jQuery. Then we have Ajax, but jQuery is a library for JavaScript, so it's going to make a lot of things easier for you as a front-end web developer. So as a front-end web developer, you need to learn HTML, CSS, and CSS framework, maybe Bootstrap or Tailwind CSS. You have to learn JavaScript. Alongside JavaScript, you have to learn jQuery, maybe React. Also, these are frameworks that can help you with a lot of things. They can make life easier for you as a developer. So that's that for front end. And in the course that we have prepared for our students, with our supportive effort, putting you through using our own experience, our industrial experience, so you could be able to complete this course and build projects within a short period of time. Now, that's that for front end development. Now going to back end development. Back end development is the brain box, the brain behind our websites. That's the brain where the logic, the business logic, where it is coming from. Every other thing that the website needs is coming from a particular place. So what entails a back-end development, or what are we talking about? Let's go to Amazon websites like before. If you come down here, here is Amazon. Okay, I think I just put that off. Oh, Amazon. Now look at this. You see, we have different categories of accessories, of products. We have accessories, we have toys, and all these images they are seeing include their price and name. They are being sent from a particular place down to where you can see. What a front-end developer does here is presentation of these particular products. All these things that you are seeing, how they are going to appear here. This is what front end does. Now a back end developer is in charge of how the retrieval of this image from a particular place and the business logic that will bring all these products down here, the types of products. When you want to select categories, you see these products have been displayed in a categorical form. So back-end developers does the work under the hood. So definitely all these data are coming from a particular place that we call database. So let's treat database, then we will treat retrieval system in database, and the languages that you can use for the business logic. Now there are two types of database in programming world. We have the relational database and non-relational database. Relational database are database that have schema. They have tables. They are presented in table. Example is, let me show you on my local server here. Show you here. Right. My machine is low. Okay, as we move forward, I will show you what a MySQL a relational database is. So we have two databases. We have the relational database and we have non-relational database. Relational database are called SQL database, while non-relational database are called NoSQL database. So example of relational database is MySQL, SQLite. MySQL is a very fast and robust database used by different companies in the world. It is used by Facebook, it is used by Amazon himself and many others. For example, I can cite even the Jumia site I just showed you, they use MySQL. Now for NoSQL databases, we have example of Firestore, we have MongoDB, etc., etc. So what is the difference between relational database and non-relational database? Let's see if our database has loaded. Thank God. Now this is a relational database. In fact, this is MySQL. All these that you can see, they are tables. Now this is a table. Let me see products. Let's see this. Look at this. Here are tables that store values. This type of database where you have tables that are related to one another are called relational database. An example is MySQL. We have PostgreSQL. They are example of databases where you store information. Now, if you look at this, we have user ID, order ID, booking code, and all this. And this is just a database for an e-commerce site, developed for an e-commerce site. And you see, it's a dummy data actually. You see the information of people that actually ordered some products from the company. Now this is an example of a database, and all these database has column name, order ID, and how the way this information are being related to one another. This one is referencing a user table. This user ID is referencing a user table. So this is not, it's just an introduction, so I don't waste time here. What I'm trying to say is this a relational database. They are related to one another. They are formed in table. They have relations. They are being organized into tables. Now this is a relational database. An example is MySQL that we're having here now. Now for so the way you retrieve information from this kind of database is we use a structural querying language, which is SQL. So SQL is used to communicate with MySQL or PostgreSQL as a relational database to retrieve information from the databases. When information are being retrieved from this database, informations that are retrieved from this database are being manipulated by backend programming language such as PHP. You have PHP, Java, Ruby on Rails, Python. You can as well use Python for backend development. So SQL is used to query MySQL database DBMS. When information are retrieved, PHP or any other backend language that you want to use are used to manipulate, to structure, order the information. Those are the business logic, and passed into what? To the front end for consumption. Here is an example of a backend code. Yeah, it's an example of a backend code. You see, it's a backend code. This code is from a Laravel. That's the framework for PHP. This code is actually telling this one to go into a database called test results and retrieve informations where the test ID is a particular value that is going to supply dynamically. So it's going to go into the database using SQL to retrieve information from the MySQL, then return the info. Don't worry, all I'm saying may not make sense to you now, but in short note, for backend development, you need a database where information are going to be stored. When information are stored, we have two types of databases. We have relational database and non-relational database. Relational database are databases that are structured and are related to one another using tables. While non-relational databases, they are not structured, they are not in a tabular form, so they are for specific use. So example is Cloud Firestore. You have Cloud Firestore, Firebase, MongoDB, etc. So, and you use a predefined language to actually talk to them, to actually speak and retrieve information. So you store information into the database. You use SQL to actually retrieve. So database that SQL are used, the structural querying language that used to retrieve information from them, are called SQL databases, while those ones that doesn't use SQL language are called NoSQL databases. SQLite is also a database, but it's actually designed for mobile application. When we get to mobile development, we'll talk about that. So example, one of the programming languages that you can use for backend development is PHP. You can use JavaScript, that's Node.js for the backend. You can use Ruby, Go, Java, etc. Now for backend development, we need to install a lot of packages. Okay, why do you need packages? Because we're going to write millions of codes. So for this, and this need to take a lot of time, for fast deployment to bring your website to life, a lot of developers have developed some packages. So you deal with a lot of packages while doing backend development. So we use npm for installation of packages to actually make our work easier and faster. So in our own course, what you'll be using is PHP for the backend development and Laravel framework to make things easier for you. And we are going to be dealing with MySQL database using SQL structural querying language to actually retrieve information from it. You retrieve, you insert, in fact you perform CRUD operations, create, read, update and delete on a particular database. So this is a MySQL database. One thing again for backend development is you need server. So simply put, let's come here. Let's go to Amazon. For Amazon to display all this product, it means it is coming from a particular database, as I have said earlier. So information has been retrieved from the database and are sent to the front end. So for this to occur, for this to be able to for this process to be achievable, means they have a server running. So server are just computers like this, but we have physical computers, we have virtual computers, virtual machines. In the cases where for example Amazon website, where is going to have a lot of people going on it, so they need a giant server to actually take care of the queries, the traffic being sent down by people. And here we have some virtual machines that work, and that's the essence of cloud computing. So that's why most of the cases we say we want to put our website into live cloud computing. You put your cloud services like Amazon, Amazon Web Service, Firebase, Firestore, DigitalOcean, etc. So in summary, for you to become a backend developer, you need to learn one backend programming language, be able to work with databases, learn structural querying language, and most importantly, learn one or two frameworks relating to the programming language you learned. Then you become a backend developer. So developers that can now both write front-end codes and back-end codes with scalability and all are called full stack developer. It means you learn front end, you learn back end, and you're able to integrate both together to serve as a front end and back end developer with enough experience, what we call full stack developer. So for you to be a full stack developer, you have to learn everything that has to do with front end and everything that has to do with back end development. Now, mobile application development will come in our next tutorial.